In this video, we will alter the transparency for a layer in our web map in ArcGIS Online using the ArcGIS API for Python by updating the opacity property for a layer. So open up the set layer opacity.py script from the layer settings folder. This is pretty much the same workflow that we saw in the rename layer video. We're going to use the update layer method. This time we're going to use the options dictionary to focus on the opacity property and update the transparency of our web map layer. We'll first access ArcGIS Online. We're then going to use the content manager get method and supply in our web map item ID, which I'll paste in now to my notepad. The get method returns an item object that will assign to a variable called web map item. We'll then use that web map item and create our map object that will assign to a variable called web map. Like we saw back in the rename layer, we have a function to get layer index by name. We will feed in the web map item and the layer name, and we will be returned an integer of the index in the web map for that layer. So first up, we call that function the get layer index by name. We supply in our web map item and our layer name for our county boundaries layer, and layer index will be an integer representing the index in the web map where that layer is found. We're then going to set the options dictionary. We are targeting the opacity property, and we're going to set that to be 0.35, which is a transparency value of 65%. Now, before going any further, let's pop on over to ArcGIS Online. Here we have our current web map. I'm going to open it up in Map Viewer. We have our county boundaries layer, that is the blue polygon, and there's already some sort of transparency set. So if we check out the properties, we can see that there is no transparency set here. So this means that the transparency is set at the symbology level, and we can see there the fill has a transparency of 25%. And that differs from our transparency here, which is our opacity property. At the moment it's 0%. We're going to set it to be 65%. So let's head back over to PyScripter. If we have a layer index, we're going to call our map object and access the map content object and use the update layer, where we supply in our layer index as the index and our options dict as the options parameters. Because we are using a method to update our map object, we need to call the map object update method to commit the change. So let's run the script. Our script is complete. Let's head over to ArcGIS Online and check out the result. Keep your eye on the blue of this polygon and watch it change as we refresh. And we can see here it is now a paler blue. We go and check the properties. We can see we now have a 65% transparency set on our county boundaries layer. We'll head back over to PyScripter. Not sure what I was thinking with this second example here. All I'm doing is setting the opacity back to 1.0 for no transparency or fully opaque. So what I'll do is I'll remove this example, keep it neater, and we'll just rerun and set back to 0% transparency. We'll run the script. The script is complete. We'll head back over to ArcGIS Online once more. We'll refresh the map and we should see that it becomes a darker blue once more as we have removed the transparency. If we check the county boundaries layer properties, we can see we have 0% transparency. In this video, we saw how we could use the map content update layer and use the options dictionary to update the opacity for a layer in our web map.